Now we're going to place typical items you might find in a typical utility room in just about any house. These could be items such as a water heater, a washing machine or dryer, your furnace, your electrical panel, maybe even a floor drain so that in case you get water on the floor, it has some place to go. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to zoom in here at the utility room down in the basement level. Now, everything that I just mentioned happens to be considered a component family, much like the fixtures that we placed in the bathrooms earlier on. So I'm going to come back up here and select on component. The first thing I'm going to be looking for is going to be a water heater. Water heater, of course, starting with W and everything on here being alphabetical. We can find water heater down toward the bottom. I'm going to select on water heater. I can see it's going to be associated with the basement level and it's going to be offset 0 feet 0 inches, which means it's going to be sitting on the floor. And in this case, that's going to be just fine. I'm going to place my water heater right about in this location. It gives us easy access. It also is going to allow us up on the upper level where we have that space between where our bathroom is at and where our pantry is at for the plumbing from the water heater to kind of start to go on up and help feed the bathroom up above. Also, whenever you're dealing with certain kinds of water heaters, such as a gas water heater, you might end up needing to be able to ventilate it out, and that space would be good for doing that as well. Same thing that goes with a furnace. You always need to have some ventilation with the furnace, and since right above in this area, in fact, I'll go ahead and show it here on the first floor plan, we have this space right here. It's going to be a really nice, easy access if we place the furnace in that area, which is going to be essentially right underneath this area right here, to be able to vent it up and out through the roof. So I'm going to come in here to the basement area, and I'm going to find a component that's going to be, in this case, our furnace. Here I have the furnace. If it asks you, do you want to load a tag, just say no to that. And we're going to place the furnace in really close to the water heater. There's still enough area to be able to access that furnace should it need to have a filter changed or anything along those lines. So that's going to be a good location at the moment. Next, I'm going to place a washing machine and a dryer. They're practically the same thing as far as what Revit is concerned, and the placement's almost identical. So I'm going to try to find washer first. You can hit the space bar in order to rotate it around if need be. And I'm going to place it close to the wall in approximately this location. Next, I'm going to try to find a dryer. So I'm going to come back up here to component and look for the D's on our list. There's a dryer. I'm going to spin it around so its back's toward the wall. And there's still a couple more things I'd like to place. One is going to be the electrical panel. And it's one of those easy things to overlook whenever you're first trying to design a home. A lot of people don't think about, well, where's the electric going to come into the building at? Actually, that's sometimes a nice question to ask even before you start your house design. Where's the electric going to come in? So you can design an area for that electrical panel to hang at. In this case, though, we're going to say that it's coming in on this side somewhere, and we're just going to look for the electrical panel. We'll select on power panel here. Say no if it asks you for the tag. And then just find a spot for that electrical panel, and I'm just going to place it right about here on the wall. Next thing we're going to need to add on to this is going to be a floor drain. So I'm going to come up here underneath components and look for my floor drain. Now everything that we've designed up till this point has all been three-dimensional items, but I do want to point this out. Not everything has to be three-dimensional in Revit, even in a Revit model. In this case, this is a two-dimensional floor drain. Oddly enough, if we would do a rendering, we'd actually still see it sitting on the floor. It would just look like some two-dimensional line work. Now, since it's completely in the concrete, there's no reason to actually model it out in 3D. It just is going to look like a hole there on the ground. And as it is, it's just going to look like a hole here on our plan. So as a result of that, there's no reason to put anything that's a nice big 3D model if you're not going to see it. But in the case of a floor drain, we'll just select it, drop it in, and it'll give us the right representation. And when it comes time to build the house, they'll know where all the water needs to drain at. Also, when we're discussing floor drains or the washing machines or the dryers, you always have to think about where's it either going to vent out at or where's the plumbing going to come out when you're going through this process of building your home or designing your home. Because of that, some other things you should start thinking about is maybe we need to have such things as spigots that would be on the outside of the house so that you can attach your garden hose to it. Maybe we need to think about where's our air conditioning unit going to be at. We're not going to place them in this model, but they're items to think about, but they place in just like the heater, the water heater, and the washer and dryer did.